2D platformers live and die off two things: level design and movement. Level design has tons of variations. There are traditional platformers, puzzle platformers, Metroidvanias, platform fighters, and rage games. But when it comes to movement, you either get Mario pilled or Wario pilled. I know that sentence makes literally zero sense, but allow me to explain. As a hard-working, middle-class Manhattan man, Mario is very simple and focused in his ways. Every 2D Mario game you play, he's always focused on one mechanic: the jump. Take Super Mario World, which is one of the most technical games in the franchise. His standard movement comes with the normal jump, spin jump, the ability to dash, swim, pick up objects and kick them, and that's about it. It sounds really lame, but if you've ever played Super Mario World, you'd know it's one of the tightest platformers to ever exist. It uses its level design to put you in weird situations. You might have to jump up a crushing tower, fly along with Paracoopas, or dodge ghosts in the shipwreck. The game expects you to know the controls after a certain point because they're very easy to grasp. It's a really great system because the player feels in control at all times, while the level design gives you new sights and experiences every level. Wario is actually the worst thing I've ever laid my eyes on. I like how Nintendo were like, how do we create the worst human being alive? And they actually achieved it. His favorite snack is garlic. He loves garlic. It turns him into an alter ego known as Wario Man. According to the Wario World Manual, it states that Wario's foot odor is so strong that it physically knocks out cockroaches, although this crazy motherfucker personally enjoys it. If he was real, he would be the greatest threat to national security ever. It's not hard to see that his personality shines straight into every game he's a part in. In Wario Land 4, he's got access to a jump, shoulder bash, momentum dash, grab, ground pound, super ground pound, crouch, roll, and a ton of different enemy-related power-ups. Getting hurt or touching hazards oftentimes doesn't make you lose any health, but rather gives you a whole new set of abilities. You have Fat, Frozen, Flaming, and Zombie Wario, just to name a few. Unlike Mario power-ups that add on to your existing moveset, for most of these you get robbed of certain controls, and for some you can't move at all. Constantly, your game state is changing, and the amount of options you have at your disposal fluctuates wildly. To adjust for this, Wario Land 4 has much simpler level design than Super Mario World. Yes, there are still gimmicks, but a lot of the challenge comes from actually figuring out your movesets. Those hurry-up sections at the end are so compelling because the game opens up paths for you to just blast through. The problem is you'll never be able to blast through on your first try because of the wackiness of your character. Most frog timers are filled with Wario breaking his face on every wall in sight. The levels may be simpler, but your new experiences come from the continual mastery of your character. So you get it now, right? A Mario game is one that takes simple controls and applies it to more dangerous scenarios, whereas Wario games take complicated controls and place them in a more forgiving environment. But what exactly does this look like outside of the Nintendo space? I think there are two games that have taken the Mario and Wario pill and taken it past the point of their creators' intentions. The first of those games is Celeste. Celeste is a mustache and a couple Italian stereotypes away from being a Mario game. Just like her fellow hard worker, Madeline is focused on one mechanic: the dash. Clearing screens often requires either holding your dash or using it in succession. You're able to dash in any of the 8 directions, with it recharging once you hit the ground or touch a level-specific mechanic. What's so interesting though is because the dash is so versatile and complex compared to Mario's jump, the movement of Celeste is so much more in-depth than a Mario game. They don't show up until Farewell or some of the B-sides, but there are advanced techniques such as the wave dash and wall bounce. Performing these preserves your momentum from the dash and launches you across the screen. And once you learn, you can't go back. All of a sudden, all those levels you used to walk and jump through are now jungle gyms where speed is the key. Madeline evolves and turns into a Wario-type character, but because Celeste never requires you to use hyper dashes, it has Mario-type level design. What it results in is one of the most exhilarating games to speed through. By swallowing the Mario pill for its main game and a pinch of Wario for replayability, Celeste gets the best of both worlds for its movement and becomes far greater than the sum of its parts. Pizza Tower takes the Wario pill, crushes it up, and injects it straight into its veins. In true Wario fashion, instead of maybe, I don't know, borrowing from its rival, it goes further into a deep end than an unsupervised child in a riptide. Here's a list of moves you can do. You have access to a run with multiple different levels, a body slam that gains more power with height, a crawl, a roll, a dive, a super jump, a wall run, a taunt, and of course, a regular jump. You thought Wario had transformations? Here in Pizza Tower, you got the Knight, Ghost, and Mort the Chicken from an obscure PlayStation 1 game, each with their own unique mechanics and power-ups. There is a level with a tutorial halfway through for an alternative character that gets used twice in the whole game. Peppino Spaghetti, yes, that is his real name, has a technique for every situation. When you start the game, it is incredibly daunting. With all of these moves, there's no way this feels good to control, right? Well, Pizza Tower lets you switch between the many states of Peppino with complete flow. A run can be started with a grab, rolling keeps your momentum, the super jump can be cancelled with a shoulder bash in either direction, grab dashing into a wall starts a wall run. When belly slamming onto a slope, you start moving in whatever direction it's facing in. With all the ways you can move in and out of every move at your disposal, the combinations you can get when you master the game are just nutty. As opposed to Wario Land, where a lot of the speed comes from just one move, the levels of Pizza Tower require a controller medley where pressing every button is necessary. It creates one of the fastest, most insane, most Italian platformers I've played in years. Now, I assume there's one question on your mind. Which one's better? And the answer is neither. All four of these titles are some of the finest platforming experiences you can get on the market. They each come with their own strengths and weaknesses. Mario-pilled games can feel far too slow. Their opening levels still assume you're figuring things out when you may have already been comfortable with your character. Wario games start off way too fucking fast. You want to do all the cool stuff, but you don't even know half the quirks of the Italian you're controlling. It's important for designers to know which of these pills they're taking though. Unless pulled off well, you can't put Wario in a Mario game, and putting Mario in Wario stages just leads to boredom. At the end of the day, this is still the most disgusting creature of all time. Did you know Wario has the grip strength strong enough to crush an apple in his hand, but instead he uses it to pick his nose? What the fuck? Hey guys, hope you enjoyed this one. Just want to thank everyone again for 2.5k, although I haven't come up with a special yet. I'll probably be covering Kaguribi 9 and then I'll think about doing a ranking. Bye!